Alright. Dairy Queen, Chapter 30, Brian Nelson. When I woke up, the sun was streaming through the curtains. I panicked for a second about milking, and then it all came back to me. A scrimmage, Dad's milking this morning, a touchdown, Bill showing up, Curtis's girlfriend, and then Brian's face when we touched hands after the game. I lay there for a bit, just trying to process all of this, uneasy because something had woken me up, but I couldn't remember what. Then, a car door shut, that was it. A car I had driving in. That's what woke me, and then I heard, "Hey there, Smut, Brian." I leaped out of bed and gave such a scream, because oh my God, I hurt all over. If you'd taken me out and driven the tractor over me, you could have done more damage. I sort of staggered and fell on the bed, but my butt was sore too. I can't even remember why, and I just had to hold real still and catch my breath for a moment, trying to figure out how to even start moving. I sat there wiggling my fingers, thinking I'd start slowly, and then the front doorbell rang, and it had to be Brian, and I like to say that it's because I'm a terribly strong and courageous person, but actually I was just too dumb to know better. I grabbed a pair of jeans and headed down the stairs, trying to pull them on as I went down. But I hurt so much I lost my balance halfway down and sort of fell and had to grab the railing for support because my legs didn't work too well. And even if they did, they were halfway inside their jeans already, so I couldn't move them or anything. So instead of walking to the front door, I ended up sort of falling against it with a big crash. And I got my jeans zipped up as the best I could and took a deep breath and opened the door. "Hey," I said. "Hey," said Brian, not looking at me. The silence lasted about a million years as I tried to pretend I wasn't panting, and we both ignored that huge elephant crashing sound I just made, and I did anyway. I can't speak for Brian, tried to think of something, anything in the whole wide world to say. Plus, it didn't help that Smut was exploding with joy to be with both of us. Brian kicked at the doormat. "I have to talk to you." "Oh," I said. Brian looked like he'd rather be anywhere than on our front porch. Finally, I said because he deserved it. "I'm real sorry." "About what?" he asked, still not looking at me. And I realized there were a number of things I could say, like about the game, which I wasn't sorry we won, actually about what I said about his dad, which was just too much to even go into. I didn't start out wanting to play football. It just sort of happened. And then I didn't tell you. I thought about this for a while, trying to figure out how to explain it to myself if nothing else. I thought about it a lot past these past few weeks, trying to figure out what my crazy brain was really up to. I didn't tell you because I really liked what we had, and I didn't want to screw it up. Well, Dad hung there on the front porch for about 10 years. Jimmy Art said I had to come here, he said finally, like he hadn't even heard me. He said I had to thank you. "Oh," I said, "don't worry about it. I really liked the training. It was fun." Brian waved me silent. "Not for that. For the game last night." "Oh, I didn't mean to, upset you so much." "Duh, I know that at least." And he couldn't help cracking the teeniest of smiles. But even that smile, microscopic as it was, changed the mood a bit. So we stood there experiencing that little change of mood. Smut water off to find love somewhere else. You know what Jimmy said? Brian said to his shoes. He said that if I walked off that field, I'd quit like a boy. But if I stayed, I'd be playing like a man. Wow, that's pretty intense. Yeah, I think he practiced it beforehand. We grinned at that just a bit. "You were, though," I offered at the end. "You were someone else." Brian frowned. "That stuff the Red Bend guys were saying to me, I didn't put them up to that." "I know you didn't." He studied his shoes some more. "But it's good you didn't run into me last night." Just then I heard Dad whistling in the distance. Oh God, the last person in the world I wanted to see was Dad. Without even thinking, I asked, "You want to walk up this way?" Brian shrugged, but he walked next to me in double time as we circled the house and headed up the hill. We didn't say much for a while, just walked. Smut even caught up to us carrying her football. Hopeful, I guess that we had brain transplants or something by this point and were all ready to play with her. It occurred to me that I should say something. I spent a lot of time this summer learning how to talk, for the first time really, and now was the time for me to put it to good use. You know, I said, my voice cracking with fear. You know I really missed you these last 2 weeks. Brian looked at me, not studying me or anything like that, but for the first time really looked at me. I missed you too. We didn't say anything more. It was pretty weird walking the path we'd taken 100 times up to the heifer field, Smut trying between us, hauling her football, watching us like eventually we'd break down and throw it for her. This here girl, Brian said finally, Chris, we started going out last summer. She wasn't too happy about me working here, getting all stinked up and everything. She sure doesn't like you. I listened to this, no idea where it was going, but it just about killed me to hear it. I guess you got tired of it, me being so crazy. Like I kept ragging on you, but whenever she said anything about you, I jumped down her throat. Anyway, that's why we broke up. And then to break the tension or something, he taught Smuts football. So I guess she was right in the end, the way she always is. How's your arm? I asked. I guess because that's what you do. It hurts. How about you? Oh, I feel great. Just great. We both grinned. They really worked you over, didn't they? I shrugged. By this point, we were at the heifer field. There were the flags flapping away, and a football field needing unmowing. The long lines barely visible. Dad saw it, I said. I wasn't up for addressing the whole Chris breakup thing. Brian whistled. What happened? I traced the top of the gate with my finger. Nothing, I guess. I thought about it some more, how Dad showed up at practice on Thursday, our conversation. I thought about his brownies and those enormous sandwiches he made for lunch, the way he put cinnamon in French toast. That chicken and prune dish I gobbled down that one night, that I wouldn't admit was totally delicious. I just been too pig-headed to see it before, to notice that my old man was turning into a really good cook. It was okay, actually. My dad's okay. Brian looked over the field. You know what I missed the most? Waiting for you to say something. Oh, great. Really? When you finally got it out, you always had something to say. All of a sudden, he blurted out. You ever date a football player? I thought about going to the movies with Troy Lundstrom. Not really. Me neither, he said, looking off over the trees. I laughed because it was so funny, but he didn't, and it took me a minute to figure it out. What? You mean like us? He shrugged. I don't know. It'd be hard. The whole Red Ben Harley thing. Yeah, like what do you call it? Romeo and Juliet? He grinned at me. I thought you flung English. I blushed, and then threw the football for Smut just to collect my thoughts. It wasn't that bad a pass either for me anyway. I don't know. Sorry about that. It, I don't know, I said. I probably end up breaking your arm or something. Brian laughed. There was this really nice bit of quiet between us. And right at that moment, Mom came puffing up the hill in sweatpants and headphones, looking like she was about to take on Mount Everest. She nodded as she passed like it was the most natural thing in the world for us to run into each other right there in the middle of nowhere. She didn't even slow down. What are you doing? I called out loudly so she had over her headphones. Getting in shape, like everyone else in this family. She shouted, heading off over the horizon toward the hay meadow. We watched her pass. Geez, I said. It was all I could come up with. It was pretty cool, actually, the thought of Mom losing some weight. Maybe now was only one job she really could. She should take off, Brian said. But he didn't say it in an I'm disgusted way. More like I see you later kind of way. Sure, I said. We headed down the hill. I told Dad to bag the lawsuit, he sighed. We'll probably have to talk about that a bunch more. I considered what he just said. Was this before Jimmy told you to come over or after? Oh, Jimmy told me that last night. Said I couldn't come back to practice until I seen you. Brian grinned at me. Wow, I thought about it. You know, when we were kids, Jimmy used to tell us he was our favorite god uncle. I guess he was right. Brian smiled to himself. I guess he was. We walked all the way back to the Cherokee without saying another word. And then when we got there, Brian said, "So I'll see you around?" "Yeah, I hope so," I said. And then because I couldn't figure out anything better, I messed up his hair. And then without us even thinking about it, he pulled me over and kissed my forehead. And you know what? The best part of it was, neither one of us made a crack about bloody noses. I really appreciated that. I appreciate